Brandini play this champion, and you see EchoFox happy to sub players around, but Looper is staying on the bench. No Elise for Xmithie. See what comes next.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the Camille for Brandini. That was one of the reasons why we were like, oh my goodness, this sub is having a substantial effect when he's put in here on EchoFox. Then it's not really a surprise that he's the one sticking in now, even though they're still rotating other positions. Kalista also comes through here from Immortals, though. They don't want to let that, go back on the backswing, basically, of the picks.
An early Kalista ban lets you blind Sivir. I don't think there are very good matchups into her. The Trist ban, I think, is actually very strange because I would be happy to let them play the champ regardless. The Immortals going to wait for their champion. Doesn't seem like he's spelling anything. I always think about that when they hover, but not the case here. What is Flame on a first pick for the squad? 30 seconds to go as they tick down. Maokai is up, but was also undrafted last game, so wasn't the most important champion. Once again, Immortals have such a very high priority on Jarvan.
Yeah, Xmithie really in love with that one from the jungle. Also, we always have to mention, yes, technically you can flex up to the top lane too if they run into some awkward matchup up there. So it is versatile as well. But it's so interesting because each individual jungler that I talk to has a different priority, right? They're like, oh yeah, Jarvan, because he's versatile, because you can build Cinderhawk, because he's a great frontline. They say the exact same things about Gragas.
Yeah.
So to me, those two right now are so close and so interchangeable that it does seem weird to me for teams that have such a high priority on one, and it feels like jungler specialization. And we actually see the other one there. It's traded back, and
yep.
Yeah.
Could be the exact same jungle matchup as last game, or, well, I guess Brandini was playing at top of the previous one, but still, yeah, the champions are on the exact same teams they were before. And with the extra marksman bans, Kog'Maw is grabbed up quickly for Mash here, and Kog actually, I think, has a pretty solid landing phase into Sivir. You can't spell shield W, and you just auto-attack that girl, and it gets kind of difficult. We'll see if Immortals want to grab a mid laner before the pool gets banned away, and it looks like they will, so Immortals continue this trend of second-round mid lane picks. Immortals are getting himself the Syndra, and they're going to hope that there's no bans away, or sorry, no good counter picks available for Froggen. One fun pick to come through, see what they want to play.
Yeah, let's see if they actually even want to answer AD carry. I feel like they're happy to let AD carry drop through at this point.
Pansy. Twitch is also good.
Apparently not, and they're going to go with the Twitch early so that Cody Sun will be able to have some late game damage. It's already, filling out here for Immortals as far as transitioning into those team fights. I love Syndra Twitch. Long range stun.
Sure.
You can get like 3 autos depending on your attack speed off with your ultimate in the late game during that stun. And depending on how fed he is, that's actually usually enough to kill, at least the squishies and chunk out the front line very heavily.
Absolutely interesting choice right here. Froggen realized that with all the marksman bans from the previous draft phase, he knew that Lucian was likely off the table in the second phase, so grabs Lucian now. If I'm Immortals, I remove Braum, though, because I feel like he's so good against both Twitch and Syndra. I think EchoFox should play that on gate this game. I think also, like, Braum Kog is a good lane. There's like lots of reasons to play the champion, so I would really want to see an Immortals Braum ban as a result. See what actually comes through, though. No Shen for Flame. See what comes next.
It's definitely a good one. I also would sing the praises of Tarek versus something like Jarvan. Jarvan, especially if he's going to have to use Flag and Drag plus ult to get in there, Tarek, as long as you get a good timing, right when Cataclysm comes down of activating your ult, oftentimes it'll finish before they can kill you in there, and then they're the ones stuck in the Cataclysm with you, and you're invulnerable.
Right.
And he has semi-decent options against the Syndra and Twitch. Anytime you do see a lot of line damage, though, as you said, Braum feels very good about blocking those types of spells.
Yep. All right, Thresh off the table. Olleh not going to get this champion for himself, but the Bard is still up. It was banned last time around, so a change of bans somewhat. EchoFox still thinking that Thresh more important than Bard. We'll see if Olleh gets to play it, or if he goes something else. Janna, actually, they're actually removing the backline supporters off. Karma is still up if they want it.
Yeah, it's not a huge surprise that they want to take out the 2 main Ardent Sensor rushers when they're facing the Kog'Maw, plus it's a double AD carry. They also have a Lucian that would be receiving those shields, so really need to be careful when the enemy drafts double marksman super early about letting any Ardent Sensor rushers through.
Absolutely, and I think the right choice here for EchoFox. Braum, I think, fits the comp really, really well.
Well done.
Woo! Thank you very much. Oh, that was the worst high five. Can we try again? All right, that was decent. We easily started it here. I'm going to try one more time. That was me clapping, but you can't know that. That was a high five. All right. I heard good job from the audience. Appreciate that. Alistar coming through for Olleh. So it looks like the Bard not going to come through regardless, to the chagrin of all the cosplayers in the audience. As Alistar will be picked up alongside Twitch, and makes his bot lane a bit interesting. I think Alistar can do pretty well in the matchup. Renekton might be grabbed for the second time in a row for Flame, and it means the same top jungle combo for Immortals as the previous.
And not just the previous game. Flame has been on a roll with Renekton for almost a month now. Him and Xmithie seem to be the ones really happy to just pick the same champion over and over again as far as that front line, and it has really worked out for them. Nice little tag team duo.
Will there be Demacia in action? No, not just yet. Do it! He's not going to. Yeah, Rumble I think makes a bit of sense here. They actually don't need a ton more magic damage because they have a Kog'Maw, but they are going to add more magic damage to the composition. Braum and Gragas hold on the front line. Akaadian will bring this Gragas now down to the jungles, and Brandini will play a different champion in the matchup. Renekton, I feel like, is typically favored in this, though, so I think the difficulties ahead for Brandini in the lane.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy Rumble into compositions that are running double no mobility backline, right? Syndra and Twitch, you can get so much value out of an equalizer literally just by making those two move. You know, Twitch pops his ultimate out. He wants to spend the entire time getting auto attacks off. If he has to worry about you know, either burning his flash, or if he doesn't have flash, walking off of it. Even if you don't get a ton of the damage, the extra slow, and that time does buy a lot of room for your team fight. So I do kind of like that top lane pick for EpicSkillshot, even though it may feel to some people like they don't have a tremendous amount of CC. I'm fine with just Braum and Gragas, you know, playing that role.
I think it's pretty reasonable. You've got some backline access too. You know, Lucian and Kog'Maw can follow up off the Rumble if it so happens. We are into what could be the final regular season game for Immortals, hoping to make it a sweep of wins in their last week of regular season matches. Flame and Xmithie back on that same Renekton and Jarvan this time around, though, relying on Pobelter, Syndra, and Cody Sun's Twitch for another carry performance. Olleh down to the Alistar, and EpicSkillshot moving things up a little bit more, though. The double marksman comp mash on a Kog'Maw sub again in this game, and Brandini's Rumble, hoping to survive the landing phase and do well in team fights.
Oh, baby. Gate has also taken the exhaust here for the bottom lane. Is that actually the best part of Alistar?
It is now. Yeah.
He did get, so here's the buffs.
Okay.
He got 5% more damage reduction on his ultimate. Boom, we see Alistar all over the place. How much of the prolific Alistar play is because of this skin and the
I mean, we were never really seeing him before with this cowbell, because I remember thinking back to like MSI and stuff.
Anyways, he's got Ignite, so I like that in the bottom lane for the 2v2. As far as Gate and his exhaust, it is difficult to get exhaust onto the super high teamfight value of Twitch or Syndra. It can be done, but it is very difficult. So here's what you would try and do as Braum in that case is use the Unbreakable like you talked about to block your big spell, and during that Unbreakable, get close enough to land your exhaust so that it goes on after your Unbreakable goes down. Oftentimes you're going to die while doing this, but that would be a sacrifice worthy of winning a team fight. Oftentimes you're not going to get that choice though, especially with Jarvan and Alistar trying to disrupt your team. It makes it pretty difficult to navigate. Whereas the Ignite just brings you a lot of power for lane, get some kills, threaten those dives.
Of course, we'll see if those threats are real. I want to point out a very minor thing. This is the second time in a row I've seen Gate predict a Pobelter juke with his Q and Pobe just walking in a straight line. I want to see next time Gate goes for Pobe if he just aims forward and Pobe this time does juke. Because it's always the guess you play in Pro is will they go back or forward, 50-50. And Pobe has chosen to continually walk in a straight line. I want to see what it ends up being. Xmithie going to go for the early red. They're going to find Cody Sun, though the attacks are in. They're going to find the stun. But of course, as Jarvan's right around, doesn't want to fight though, doesn't want to give much away. Going back and forth, a nice stun means damage onto Gate.
Yeah, that's a nice trade for EpicSkillshot. They got a large portion of damage onto Cody Sun as well as Olleh, and Gate's got plenty of potions to heal up. Plus, they got back for the early CS. Nice little surprise there in the tri-bush from the EpicSkillshot duo. It does mean, look at the little mini-map there. I think that Xmithie's going to finish up with that blue and get out of there without being punished. Akaadian
He's actually taking each other's jungle.
He's actually constantly going for, oh, never mind.
Flash pull. Verizon's going to go for a bit of a body slam. They're ready for the flash, and he's going to get away from the flag and drag. He couldn't quite get anything else that he wanted. Now the damage across on Xmithie, very low on health. Takes someone to heal. Maybe not needed, but the attacks come through. Nash stayed in the fight too long, and Cody Sun got the damage across. They missed it. And I think so did he.
So much
Froggen's here. Headbutts him towards. Here comes Lucian. A big giant stun coming across. Can they get Xmithie? No, he's going to flash away. TP now coming for Brandini. This might not mean too much, but Flames also joined the fight. And yes, a cancel means Brandini gets a lot of free time up there.
Ooh, we'll see what that does to the Rumble Renekton matchup.
Syndra getting free time in mid lane, though. Pobelter denying a lot from Froggen.
Interesting. A couple of solo laners there actually getting some extra CS because of this bottom lane skirmish, but it all came about. Mash got too greedy there. He saw the low health jungler double buffs, but it wasn't looking at his own health. Only 200 here. This is the initiation, and we talked about the Ignite. Instant flash in there from Olleh, gets the Ignite down. Cody Sun gets a decent amount of damage, and yeah, they turn it around on Xmithie and Braum faster, but look at Cody Sun. He's just walking straight up into Mash's face. This is Twitch. He has wait, he doesn't even have Expired?
Contaminate, he does.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, able to get the kill with it. Did have the Contaminate.
Yep.
And that is going to be some extra cash flow for him. Yep. Yeah, he's going to go for the early split of the Ruined King. That's still the most common, right? I mean, crit builds, I do like to see them from Twitch, but that power spot on Just Blade is...
Yeah, the way I think of it is basically Ruined King is much safer option. It's life in the laning phase, and I think Kog'Maw is a scary enough laner when you're somewhat short range like Twitch that you kind of want this. Theoretically, optimal damage probably does say you go IE, but this is totally reasonable. Especially against a 2-tank team, I think it's totally fine. We'll see as Xmithie's going to spot Akaadian, or rather be spotted by Flash wall. They know he's there, and they can jump for this. Flag and Drag's going to be used to hit
He has
Brandini.
no flash!
Being slowed down, the barrel's going to land as well. Xmithie has no way out. There are no exits. Only an entrance to despair, and he's going to go down as Brandini gets the kill.
All right, Rumble not only canceled the teleport and got more time up in the top lane to catch up. Flame actually got a bunch of CS. I believe maybe that was down bottom lane.
Yeah, Froggen and Flame both stayed and got lots of waves.
Brandini, though, has a double, almost triple stacked wave here to burn up. Plus extra kill now from Xmithie. Nice little play there. Echo Fox punishing that invade with their extra vision.
Absolutely the case. We're going to see the bot lane now pushing toward. Of course, better items on Cody Sun right now with the double dagger. He's going to feel pretty solid for himself. And 2-on-2 temporarily advantage. Now on to Pobelter. No flash available for the jungler, though. Po's going to keep running. Xmithie's around, though. Doesn't quite bait it in. Level 3 for both these junglers. They've spent so much time ganking. They are under-leveled.
Nice measured play there from Echo Fox. They want to overchase the Syndra, who's holding onto her spells into the fog of war. Don't give away any guaranteed stun into a Xmithie counter, which definitely would have been the case and easily could have resulted in a kill. Akaadian doesn't have his flash either, remember. He used it in the bottom side skirmish.
Catch up XP gets Stranglers to level 4. They're back to being relevant after those early ganks. Relevant reference. Xmithie can hit that ward only once, but he's going to zone Froggen off the wave, and it's a 1.5x sized wave.
Not only that, they've got 4 members here. Bottom lane has rotated up from Immortals to try and pressure and get the first turret bonus with the Jarvan flag.
6 minutes. Attack speed is in. A bit of a barrel slow. Here comes the engage. So on to 2, looking for Akaadian, and he is not taking out the second going to fall in. He's alive. 2 kills out of the turret for Immortals. First turret itself, that could not have gone better.
Olleh doesn't hesitate on Alistar, goes and gets the double knockup. He waits on the stun to be able to secure the second kill so easily as well. Plus he got flash out of Froggen. That looked effortless and is almost game-breaking.
Yeah.
First turret bonus, 2 kills, Infernal Drake.
Oh man.
Insane little snowball here, and this is only 6.5 minutes into the game.
Immortals are peaking at just the right time against, what was it, Envy yesterday? They had 2 slaughters of games, and now against Echo Fox, looking to be something very similar.
Man. The power swing that just went on is ridiculous. All right, Akaadian's on a ward, so Olleh's saying, hey guys, get ready. As soon as Akaadian comes over, he's toast. He waits on his stun, gets it so that Froggen has enough damage plus the poisons.
Yeah.
And I believe Ignite was still on him too, that he dies even after the flash. That actually could not have gone better. Bunch of summoners they gained. So much ridiculous power here from Immortals. Let's see how they pressure this, because Echo Fox have a giant hole to dig out of.
Well, they're going to try it through the top lane right now. Mash only level 4, but he's got Zerker Greaves, so at least he can move around quickly. But yeah, as you mentioned, a giant hole to dig themselves out of. It'll take him a while. And as we've seen so far from Immortals, they do not let up easily. And maybe they can make it happen.
And not often do we see 6.5 minutes tower dives. You know, the Alistar's still like level 4 or something in that fight before. Now he's level 5, but regardless, no ultimate, and they instantly are able to get the engage. Huge punish there, and very big rewards for the risk. Just very nice call from Immortals.
If I could look for the deep invades, not going to find much here. Olleh waiting around the wing. He's going to kill off a Trinket Ward. Quick out-of-game point, by the way. I was informed between Game 1 and 2 that Echo Fox, actually, based on how matches have gone so far this week, are actually guaranteed 7th or 8th. As we said, coming into this match, they were one match win ahead of that 3-way tie below them. And based on tiebreakers and game percentages and head-to-heads, they cannot finish 9th or below. So Echo Fox, actually, regardless of this result, are actually safe. And they will just... This will be the end. This will be the last match they played this year in the LCS, and we'll see how it goes in 2018 for everyone else involved. But Immortals, of course, still on that run for that top seed. We know they have a bye, but first and second seeds certainly are relevant. See which one they get for themselves as they're battling TSM for that right, as more and more of the postseason is locked in. They actually know 3, 4, 5, and 6 exactly, based on early results as well. Immortals going to hope again that they can get first place. CLG can help them with that one. Nice bit of damage into Froggen. Ulti coming across as well, and suddenly it's an Xmithie. He says goodbye, knock him down. Danes might be overrated. Get that kill knocked in, and 4-1 in this one.
Oh yeah, Xmithie just with a little love tap there. He's like, I know you have this, Pobelter. You can secure the kill. We know for sure he has no flash. Yep. So they have that timer. They're returning to this. Okay, teleport for Brandini. They want to make a play on the top side versus the Twitch Alistar.
On a ward, though, and there is completely an easy way out. Well, they can maybe push the turret down, but the new wave's coming in only right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath here on this one. Immortals with a giant lead here. Let's see if they even stick around. If you call Pobelter up, Echo Fox actually are going to have to pull off.
There are a lot of wards, though, so something to watch out for. He's going to continue to walk by vision if he comes up here. Echo Fox are completely aware of this. Will they go for the dive? They're going to look for this one. Olleh's going to walk forward. But when there's nearby, though, knockup is in onto this Rumble. Gets the ulti across, but it's not onto much damage. They don't get much into Pobelter, and that tank is pretty durable. Brandini right out of health gets the kills. Pobelter, and now they're going to flash it away. Gate's going to jump into his teammate, and that is an ill-fated dive. Echo Fox getting farther and farther away.
Yeah, Immortals 100% prepared for that one. That's the difficulties with 5-man rushing on the top side, you know, showing this dive really early on. Echo Fox have no surprise tools to bring to this party. Teleport comes in, you know, very casual stroll over from Pobelter. He's able to back off even though he gets exhausted. He doesn't force summoner spells. Immortals are also getting ground on the bottom side. That's going to be a turret to Xmithie, who was pushing the whole time. This game is honestly out of control.
It really is right now. This is going to be an even larger gold lead, and right now, Immortals are only 1 kill off from that perfect game. No objectives yet grabbed for Echo Fox. 4,000 gold lead.
Take a look here. Olleh is going to section off the team. Look at this. They have 2 and 2 split. They get the Rumble stunned up. Cody Sun gets to fire almost every shot during the duration of his ultimate through the Rumble. They finish up the kill. Flame teleports in so they can't, you know, converge on the Twitch, and it is a very clean counter there for Immortals. Teleport also taken off the table for Echo Fox for a possible comeback play. So now they have to hope for some sort of rush attempt where they use Fog of War and they're, you know, in like a 3-to-1 numbers advantage play.
Yeah, the number of fights you can win dwindles dramatically, and you've got to somehow manage to outplay and outnumber your opposition. Pobelter gets a ward kill. Set up by Olleh, nice assist. We'll see what comes next for Immortals. They hope to close out the regular season and await their semi-final playoff opponent.
What a way to do it here, this game.
Yeah.
This is definitely a statement game from Immortals. Not versus a playoff team, but
nope.
Still. See how they can snowball here, because that is, as well, another test worth taking. Olleh does have his Moby Boots as well on Alistar. When your team is this far ahead and you are a Moby Boots Alistar, it almost just feels like you can almost create a play anywhere on the map.
Yep.
You know, the vision starts to get cleared out. You're Turbo Alistar. You have your flash ready. So he's just looking for anybody away from a turret to create a play on.
Yeah. And if you're after me, you get Righteous Glory and Talisman of Ascension, and you do it every 5 seconds, and it's even more kind of hilarious. See what he ends up doing for this one. Yeah, you can see the Rejuve beat is in. That could actually be either upgraded gold generation, or it could be the beginning of a righteous story. We'll see which one he goes for here. Xmithie slowly but surely wearing down this Rift Herald. Olleh walks in to punch it a couple of times, and
no flash on Brandini.
Gonna miss the first few skill shots, though. Equalizer is in, but the re-engage is there. Hello, Xmithie. Sorry, Flame actually is the one who joins in. Gets the kill credit. Ultimate Pobelter nearly loses his life, but wins the fight all the same.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to get it anyways. Here comes Xmithie, extra attack speed. As I said, so one of the reasons, let's talk about full tank Jarvan for a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different take on it. I too have started, they can actually go for something. The attack speed that you get from the flag is really good for team fights. And if you're going full tank Jarvan, you can actually afford to put more points into the flag early, even though pro players have not done it. I really like the feeling because it does sync up your cooldowns of your Q and your E closer so that you can use them both for flag and drags. Everybody's used to just maxing the Q for damage because Jarvan always used to build Warrior. And it is a better damage gain. But because Q already has a lower cooldown than E, by putting more points into E early, you don't have to max it maybe 3
You get
points
more
or something
knockups
like
that way.
Exactly. You can time your knockups better as the cooldowns get closer together. Plus, you provide more utility to the rest of your team since you're not actually a huge damage source.
Right.
And I just kind of like that little take on the tank aspect of it. Oh, Pobelter!
Forward, Exhaust on the Pobelter, blocker with the ulti damage, but he's still going to win the trade. Exhaust is irrelevant. It's going to be Pobelter winning the battle. In the 1v1, even wins up in Summoners. Nice solo kill.
I think he timed that is very close to the frame that Exhaust dissipated, and he got the burst damage in full effect without reductions.
Doesn't even matter at the end of the day. Pobelter was also up like 1,400 gold as a result. There was certainly an item deficit there, and Froggen just could not get the damage across. And at this point, I mean, it's desperation, right? Echo Fox are down 6,000 gold at 15 minutes. This is almost entirely out of hand now, and mid lane 2-2 going to fall short.
Yeah, they can just keep up the pace. Basically, right now, we're just seeing how cleanly and how quickly can Immortals finish this game out.
Well, they're going to find this one. Brandini low on health, puts up the shield.
Gets flash.
And Froggen's going to buy some time, and Equalizer actually misses the wave pretty badly, means there's going to be a lot of turret damage here as a result. They're going to clear it out, though, and the turret will stay alive.
15 minutes into the game, Shelly's knocking on the front door.
Yep. Red buff makes it even faster in the top lane as well. The flag in for the attack speed, and down goes yet another turret. 5-0 in that mark, and again, aside from the one death for Xmithie, almost perfect game.
All right, let's take a look at the all-in again. Froggen goes for it. Akaadian was still doing Raptors, so this was always going to be a 1 versus 1. Akaadian could not join, and yes.
WQ once the exhaust ends. It was a good exhaust to stop the ulti damage, but yeah, Pobelter wasted out otherwise, and that was nicely played. Luden's Echo coming soon, burst damage even higher. Yeah, good luck. Even the ones who would be tanks have no magic just yet. Okay, there's Merc Treads Akaadian.
That's an Infinity Edge, bro.
Woo! Oh, he is. So the double dagger was just because he recalled a 600 gold and said, all right, well, I couldn't buy pickaxe. Like, didn't want to buy a coal.
I'm happy.
So cool. Optimal DPS Cody Sun.
Crit!
Oh, bam! Knockup is there. Goodbye.
Okay. That was Syndra. There was only one 260 crit there from Twitch.
No one pressed R that time.
All right. This turret is going to be difficult to defend now. All 5 members of Immortals. Olleh could go for a tower dive. It looks like he wants it. Stun does go wide, though. They might want to wait on that cooldown.
Not going to find it. They're going to go for the bot lane instead. They're going to find Brandini. Xmithie does not want to go in for this one yet. No, does have the Cataclysm, but Brandini had ulti. Maybe didn't want to burn it for that. Flame now going to continue on the bot lane tier 2 as Gate takes the Thunderlord's trigger from Pobelter and kites back out. And the bot lane tier 2 is taking a bit more damage, but Brandini given the chance to wave clear. Back to mid lane they go with 4, and really ready for an engage if one happens. Stun's going to land on the back line. Look at the burst across. They don't quite kill off Match, but Xmithie's going to make it happen finally in the end. Pobelter cutting away, and the chase is in. Cody Sun gets the attacks, but trades his life with Mash, who destroys him with the Akaadian surprise, even though he saw it coming. And now it's a double stun coming through. Almost the damage on Brandini. Not quite going to knock him down, but still 10-2 in kills. Inhibitor is theirs in 17 minutes, 25 seconds.
Still looking clean for Immortals. We always have to, keep that watchful eye after there's such an explosive, big advantage over the one team so early into the game. How quickly can they keep up the pace? How many mistakes do they make? And delays to the game, basically. They still are going for this. Yeah, a little bit of a station there. But anyways, Mountain Drake could actually accelerate it. Let's see, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left if they wanted to end it before Surrender was available, but that probably won't be the case. Pobelter's the one who started off, got that double stun. He got the ultimate on the match, allowing Xmithie to finish it off. Cody Sun flashes in to try and get that point blank onto Froggen. He ends up getting the kill, but Froggen still gets one while he goes down. And then you get the double stun there.
Yep. Quick stat for you. Fastest game of the split, 23 minutes, 8 seconds. So they have about 5 minutes to break the, I'd say world record. That's maybe not exactly fair. The NA record for this split.
Not exactly true.
Yeah, no, not even the closest. There's been some IEMs where it was like 15 minutes. But we are going to see what happens here. 9,000 gold. I mean, Immortals have just continued to stack up gigantic gold leads against mid-tier teams.
What would also be interesting is comparing it even just against Immortals last year. Because you know, Immortals as an organization, or even the entire history of this organization ever, right?
Yeah.
What was the fastest win when they had Huni and Reignover in their
right
dominating regular split? They definitely had some pre-20-minute ones. I think one was around 18-something. And that was a team where people kind of expected it because they're like, this is the Huni style, and he goes off like this. These players, though, and especially you know how they've developed, it isn't the go-to style, right? They're not always this quick, but Pobelter,
oh, he's running out of health and he's gone. All right, one shot comes through and Pobelter adds himself to a death. 5-1-5 for him, and that siege might be slowed down. The record slipping out of their fingers.
Yeah, all right, well, see what they can do. Baron's up in 30 seconds. That would be a much easier way to end the game. They can just, you know, keep Echo Fox bottled up in their own space here. Let the turrets, or the wards, time out. Turrets are already dead. All right, Pobelter. He wants another solo kill. Lands a long range stun.
But he's 1v3.
You know what happened.
Rune King barely lands.
He did get the solo kill, though. He was awarded a mission.
Okay.
His mission was to take down Brandini. Successful mission.
Great.
You know, the Immortals are going to deny any association with Pobelter afterwards if he gets caught, and
just about him.
He honorably goes down.
He never existed. His birth certificate's been deleted.
Did not
now
give
Immortals.
up.
He's
Oh,
low.
jeez.
They need Olleh. Or they got Olleh.
Okay, as much as we're talking about time trials and stuff like that, you don't want to give over a Penta at Baron or anything to like a Rumble ultimate. That would
get wiped by the raid. Not going to happen. They're going to get through this one. Good smite for Xmithie. Gate not getting the steal, and purple's drop for all of Immortals.
All right. With Baron to empower the recall, they actually can get right back out to this push. Minions are already in fine places for all of the lanes. They can actually go 4-1 here. Try and end it through the bottom lane.
Anything can happen. 7 turns to gone. Mid inhibitor already out there as well.
They're splitting even further. It looks like they actually want to get all 3 lanes pushing.
Yeah, well, middle push on its own at the very least, so Olleh's going to kind of sit there and say hi. But yeah, Flame's on his own. I don't know if Echo Fox saw him TP into the Baron pit, so I'm not sure if they're aware they can force a 5v4.
Yeah.
They did TP in to make sure that happen, but I think it was the clock before when it did.
Now, the mid lane will take a bit longer to push because the super minions are slower than Flame. He's stronger than the super minion.
True.
And he's going to get up to the top side. Immortal's just going to wait until he does arrive there. One more wave for him to clear out. And then the pressure mounts. Froggen actually wants another fight.
He's winning the battle.
Is he?
I mean, he's doing more damage.
That's true.
Full fervor stacks, but here comes Xmithie. 2v1. Froggen didn't sign up for this one.
You may win the battle, but the war definitely going to
running down. Gate just gets deleted. Can't block damage anymore. Here comes the dunk in the back line, and Froggen is going to jump away. And he stays alive.
Get back in there, 2v1. We want to see the highlights. Immortals inside the base, though.
Yeah, bot lane inhibitor going to fall. Top turret going to drop as well, but the health bars are low. There's no Ocean Drake keeping sustained, but Olleh wants in. Good flash by Brandini. Finds this low, but it's a 5v4. The battle could continue. Pobelter could look for a stun soon enough. Has his flash up. Cody Sun has the ulti available. There's the flash body. Sam going to land the knockback. Pobelter going to flash away, staying alive, just barely getting away from the shots from Mash. We're running out of health. The flash chases in. Cody Sun picks up that first kill. 2 are down right now, waiting for respawn and getting away from everything else. Somebody will stay alive. Bottom inhibitor going to drop. Mid has respawned, but this will be the 3rd inhibitor down for realsies this time. 14,000 gold lead, 5v4 in the base.
Immortals playing whack-a-mole with the inhibitors. Boop, boop, got them all now.
Yeah, gonna be 5 minutes to come back after this one. They're gonna try to close this game out. They've got 20 seconds to make the record. If they can knock this one down in time. Turret number 1 is gone, 20 seconds to go. And they're kind of not on pace anymore. The splits aren't green anymore. They're not quite getting it. Get your foot on the pedal. Knock down these turrets. The minion wave back to turn off the backdoor bonus. And the record will not be theirs. Kog'Maw hold on a little bit longer than that. But still, there's not really not much left to do, though. Respawns come through. The turrets are still following. Flame lands himself a stun. The champion's starting to die off. And a quick fake kill, though, as he knocks down the Renekton. Now onto the back lines. The heal's not quite there. Cody Sun getting the crits, getting the hurricane shots across in the nexus. Call it Oriath, it has fallen. This game is over. Immortals 2-0 over Echo Fox. They're going to hope that CLG gives them a helping hand for that first place seed, but we know they are getting a bye into the semifinals. We'll see him in Boston, we'll see him in the semis, and they're going to hope they see him in the finals as well.
Immortals end strong with a 2-0 victory in this series and a 2-0 on the weekend. Both series victories for them. Flame extremely happy, as he should be. What a split for him it has been. Absolutely outstanding. He's had multiple highlights, 2v1s, 3v1s. Great stuff from the team all around. And man, have these guys really risen to the top.
Absolutely agree. A lot of damage out of the backliners there. The Syndra putting up 20,000 in a 23-minute game. That's solid. 15K out of Cody Sun, not bad either, of course. And a team that is all smiles. Heading to the postseason off back-to-back 2-0 victories in Week 9. They have 2 weeks off the promotion tournament that neither of these teams will be a part of, the quarterfinals that neither of these teams will be a part of either, but for different reasons, of course. And then we'll see who Immortals' semifinal opponent will be. They're still waiting for the conclusion of TSM versus CLG. If TSM win it cleanly, it's TSM at #1, but if CLG knocks them down, Immortals will inherit that #1 seed. And they're going to be CLG's biggest fans tomorrow, you have to assume, as a result. Either way, Immortals are closing out the season, I believe, at 14-4 in overall matches. Certainly a strong run for a squad that was 7th place in the spring split. They bring in a new coach, they bring in a new jungler, and now they're #1 or 2.
An organization that was scrutinized after, letting Huni go. They broke up the dream duo of Huni and Reignover, and they had these all-stars that absolutely crushed the North American LCS, but they rebuilt. As you said, they brought in not only new players, but also new coaching staff. Song, as we said before, has been credited by all of the players on the team, and they have really rallied around that team mentality.
Yeah.
And that's where all of these victories are coming from. It's such a decisive play style that we see from them. It feels like it has actually affected the entire league as the teams have been scrimming Immortals and becoming more used to that.
Yeah, and I cannot sing enough praises for the support staff of Immortals, because you think about, as you mentioned, the criticism that this team got for the players they brought in. Flame, who had been sitting on a bench several times in China or over in Korea, and was like, well, he used to be good, but no one cares anymore. Pobelter, who hadn't had the greatest splits with Immortals more recently. Cody Sun, a rookie who did not look good at the very beginning, right? All the jokes when Cody first joined the team. Cody's done. Worst, like he was called the worst bot player in North America. He was a flaming dumpster fire at the very beginning, and he's risen so well.
I hope we're interviewing him so he's
right.
listening.
Actually, no, it's Olleh. And Olleh, who had run around, and I don't think he ever actually quite made Worlds playing with like HKE over in the LMS and whatnot. So hadn't seen a lot out of him, nor when he was playing in Brazil, right? And it's players that hadn't had anything happen for a while.
He talked about the issues where he had difficulty working with the rest of his teams, and there was a lot of infighting before, and he had to grow as not only a player but as a person. And the interviews that we get from him and the insight that he's talking about his personal growth have been some of the more inspiring ones, right? Because it isn't just as a player. And yes, his play has been exceptional, and he's at the top of the solo queue ladder, and everyone's talking about him right now. But it seemed like it really did start with a personal change.
Yeah, and I think personal changing and personal growth has been the story for every single one of these players. Every single one of them is playing better today than they did at the beginning of the year. And I think in all these cases, better than they did last year as well. I mean, we can go down the list. We talked about most of them. Xmithie was like the death leader. Now he's maybe the MVP, just on a different team. It's all been smiles for Immortals. Now to hear more about their last match of the regular season, let's hear from Degon and their carry support.
Thank you very much, guys. Great cast on the day. I'm joined with Olleh. And Olleh, this was an interesting series because you had a very long, drawn-out game against Echo Fox in the first game. And then this one went by pretty quickly. Talk to me about it.
First game I just played Karma for our team, so like we didn't have that much tempo. Just like I was focusing on helping Cody. But second game I got Alistar, then I have lots of source to make some play. So I think the game just ended by like the mid dive at like 8 minutes. Yeah, so that game turned to be really quick.
So you talked about your champion pool here, but you're well known with playmaking supports. What makes them so great on you?
I just play lots of game of Thresh, and I didn't play that much Alistar game before, but I always think about what enemy can do, and I always think about what I can do. So whenever I play against them, I think about their side. Okay, I'm Alistar, so what they gonna be afraid? So I move here, they'll be afraid. So yeah, I always check my replay, and even though I lose or win, I always check my replay after I back to home. So I think that's the reason why I can play well.
So part of being so great on all of those different supports is the fact that you've had a lot of experience. You played in Korea, you played in Brazil, and you played in Hong Kong with Hong Kong eSports, and now you're here in North America. Do you think that makes you one of the best supports in North America?
Now I can't say I'm the best support because like even though we won lots of games, but we didn't win in playoff yet. So if I want to prove I'm the best, I have to win in playoff. And also I play in other region, so I learn lots of things from that other regions support. Like in Taiwan, they are like Sodart or RBs, they are really good. And I also learn from Brazil, like they are like Loop and yeah, other support, they really play a lot. So yeah, that's really good for me.
Are there any supports here that you look after that you want to emulate?
Seriously, I think like some people say like NA support is not that good, but as I feel like they know how to play, and every support has their own strengths. So like when I look at Biofrost, he's really like good at like positioning, and he always avoids that position. And Xmithie always think about his teammate, so his move around team. So I learn a lot of things from them. So it's really good for me too.
So you spoke about Biofrost and TSM. That might be a team you play in the playoffs. Are there any other teams you're worried about in the playoffs?
I think I'm just worried about every team because like even though we were the first place, we still lost against like P1 and against like MV. So I'm not sure we can win for sure. So I think we have to practice hard to make it sure.
All right, well, congratulations on your victory today and making it to playoffs. For more on this series, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Degon. Great to hear out of Olleh. They're, in my opinion, the best support in the league currently. And Immortals have closed out their regular season at 14-4. Sitting in that #1 spot, they are reliant on the results of TSM and CLG's game tomorrow to determine whether or not they'll be the very first seed or the second seed. But either way, securing that first round bye just yesterday, I think they're going to feel very good about the growth that they made from a 7th place team in spring to top 2 summer split.
Yeah, and especially the way they end this week. It just slaughter Envy, kill Echo Fox, just say like, no, we're the best team, hopefully. And
right.
I mean, it's a little up to TSM, like you said, but to go all the way from, like you said, the team that was getting slaughtered last split to being the one kind of destroying people is very impressive.
Exactly. We will remember that they did get beat by Dignitas just last week, so they were recovering from that. But as you mentioned, it was just an absolute clinic both yesterday and today in terms of some of the leads they built and then what they were able to do with those leads. Let's first, when we talk about this second game here of the series, get a look at Champion Select because I want to break down the tools that they had to work with in order to end the game in the fashion that they did. I think the keys here is, again, a playmaking support for Olleh, and then you got a very powerful pick across the board in terms of laners from the Syndra and the Renekton.
I mean, that's the thing that's really nice with this comp is that generally you'll have pressure around mid and top, and then as soon as your Twitch gets this Cutlass spike, he can start moving anywhere on the map and probably find some pickoffs, and then you just start getting into a turret take situation or something like that. And it's pretty easy to find those opportunities when you have this much pressure in your top and mid lane, as well as the fact that Jarvan's an extremely strong jungler in the early game.
Easy to find the opportunities, not always as easy to execute on them, but that's exactly what Immortals does. We're going to roll this out for you. The first blood blood that comes here at 6 minutes into the game. Roaming mid with Olleh and that Twitch, as you mentioned. Kind of break it down for me how this play could develop in the way that it did.
Well, first gotta take a look at how nice it is. Just Echo Fox feels so pressured by the early 4-man as Froggen was still under leveled. They try and walk forward to clear the wave, but Immortals shows that they're not gonna be gun shy at all and just instantly pull that trigger. But the way that usually works is the Twitch player, when he goes back to base and gets some kind of power spike or knows that he pushes wave and has a good back timing, will say something like, can I go top or mid? Is there an opportunity here? And it's usually on the laner to kind of call the Twitch there more often than not. So sometimes you say, no, I'm going to back soon, don't bother coming mid. But this was a time where, you know, Pobelter probably identified, I'm going to hit 6 first, and I have the push. Come mid, and we'll siege this down. And Xmithie came as well, Olleh following, and you get that really nasty situation where Echo Fox hasn't backed in the bot lane yet. Their mid laner's under leveled. Their jungler's first to come there. But what do you really do when it's just, you know, a Gragas and a Lucian?
Exactly. I mean, you had a level 6 Syndra to the level 5 Lucian, so the ultimate available for the Syndra on top of very easy executable dives with a Jarvan and an Alistar, and then, as you mentioned, the support in damage from the ADC. So this is the Immortals that is operating in top form. This is the Immortals that we expect to perform when it comes to the postseason. And even more so, I'm going to put the spotlight on an individual because we talk so much about Xmithie. We talk so much about Olleh as facilitators and playmakers, you know, for the squad. But Pobelter in the conversation of mid laners, man, this guy has really developed into a star of his own throughout his career.
I mean, we've said it a bunch of times, even when, you know, in 2016 when he was playing with Huni and Reignover, he was the third option kind of on that team in terms of who got the most attention. And here, another shining performance out of him. He's a guy who can compete for top 3 mid laners in the league when he's playing well. In this game, he's going up against Froggen, someone who's considered one of the best in the league. And just with a little bit of help from his teammates, absolutely blows this game open. He gets that kind of double kill around the mid lane, and then from there does not let up. Solo kills Froggen multiple times, roams up to the mid lane.
Okay, hold up. Renekton did how much damage in this game? How did Flame only do 2 points? Okay, first of all, Flame's scoreline was 1-1-1. This is like
10% kill participation.
This is the quintessential Flame game right here. 1-1-1 with a 50 CS advantage at the end of the game, but only deals 2.7k damage to champions because the rest of his team was slaughtering everyone. He didn't have to group up. He didn't have to team fight.
How much minion damage did he have?
Probably a heck of a lot. His damage rating might be through the roof when it comes to the turrets that he took in the side lane. But either way, when it comes to player of the game, we're actually going to hand that one off to Olleh. Yes, Pobelter did a lot with the advantages that were accrued in that mid lane. But if that initial gank doesn't come through to take the turret, give the first blood, you know, get those first 2 kills in the bag, who knows how that mid lane matchup would have necessarily played out? As we know, Froggen is, you know, a tough opponent.
They're playing a very snowball-y comp, and one of the things about snowballs is it's much easier if your whole team's working together to make sure that snowball keeps going downhill as opposed to relying on individual talent. And Olleh is probably the best support right now at making sure that that snowball keeps on going. He's relentless in his aggression. He does a good job setting up with the entire team.
Yeah, very much so. Now, Echo Fox, of course, they are sitting at 5-12. They've got one more game to play. Things are not looking great for this squad in terms of closing out the season on a high note, right? Because if anything, knowing you're not going to make the playoffs, you'd at least want to see forward progress. Something that tells you, again, with another off-season's worth of work, we can come back next split and compete. I'm not necessarily seeing anything that I can latch onto to give me that hope.
I mean, what is it? 4 or 5 splits in the LCS, 0 playoff performances with a pretty similar roster for the most part. Some pieces have been changed out, but you're mostly looking at Gate, Froggen, and Keith as kind of the mainstays.
That's the core.
Akaadian this year did a really good job stepping up, but it wasn't quite enough to push them from, you know, promo relegations team all the way up to playoff team. And this week was not super impressive so far. Like, especially game 1, just to call out Froggen a little bit, you saw him diving into a Karma to get a single kill while the enemy team's doing Baron. And he might, in some world, be able to stop that Baron or change it, but doesn't even elect to go for that play.
Right, I think that's the big thing. It's just the mentality of the player to go for the kill. Yeah, sure, you may not have been able to stop the Baron, but if you don't, you lose the game. So you have to go for the game-saving play in that situation. Felt a little bit like he was protecting the KDA. If I'm going to call it out, he felt like he was protecting the KDA in that instance. Back over to Immortals, though, we mentioned they've secured the bye, but not the first seed, and that's because they're reliant on TSM losing tomorrow to CLG. So Immortals fans are now CLG fans for one day here as we go to tomorrow to avoid the tiebreak, which would break in TSM's favor.
I mean, just what you got to hope for. You're going to see a lot of Immortals players probably in some TSM jerseys if they got them. We see him famously, I think it was last split, it was when C9 tweeted out the pictures of all of them in Phoenix 1 shirts.
Where can we get a bunch of Phoenix 1 jerseys on short notice?
Yeah, I assume it's a similar situation here. Though, to be fair to Immortals, I'm sure they're much more focused on making sure that they actually perform in the playoffs. And they're going to have a week to watch that and make sure, because they already have the bye locked up.
Well, that's the big thing, right? You take that historical performance of Immortals as an organization in the playoffs. Zyrene was hitting it at the top of the day, saying for them it's about getting rid of that that image that's been painted of them as a performing regular season team that can't necessarily convert into playoff wins. And for them, they've got 2 weeks to read up, practice up on patch 7.16, which is what the playoffs will be played on, and come back with a solid understanding of the meta and continue to put up performances like that.
I think they have a good system to do it in, just because they might have been like a little slow on 7.14, but to be fair, that it was a crazy patch, and on the first week, everyone looked a little lost. But I think they've looked a lot better with Song coaching.
Yes.
I think Olleh and Xmithie have been great about kind of like synergizing with the rest of the team, because it was only that one roster move that made the change, but they're obviously much more in tune with what everyone needs. And you see a lot of those really early plays, like that 6-minute roam. Sometimes Xmithie goes for level 2 gank down the bot lane. I believe that was in the first game we saw some of that. So they do a really good job of finding really small moments of weakness in the enemy team, and that's something that you can expect to continue even on 7.16.
And that's the kind of thing that's only born out of a tight-knit group that operates very well together in a competitive setting. And I think that if anything showcases that the most, it is actually the way that these guys interview. Again, you hear from Olleh, and you hear how humble and respectful they are in their victories and how they learn and the way they intend to grow when they talk about their roles on the team and how they rely on everyone else on their team for success. It's very clear that every win and every loss is a shared experience for this Immortal squad.
It's definitely a group of guys who, for the most part, have a lot to prove, because you have Flame, who's been someone who's been kind of in the back burner in the Korean scene. He was on the bench in China. He hasn't been prominent in any region for a really long time until he came to North America, and even his first split was not super impressive. So he's got a little bit of an axe to grind. Pobelter wants to show that he's not just this mid laner who relied completely on Huni and Reignover and CLG when he was back there, that he can be a legitimate option. Cody Sun's really young. He wants to prove himself. Olleh's an import. Xmithie just got traded off CLG, and he probably is pretty pissed off about that and wants to show, like, you made a mistake ditching me. So I feel like this is a team that is very, very hungry, and that's part of the reason that you hear them sound so focused in their interviews.
That's a fact. I love that. I didn't even necessarily consider the historical elements of each individual. Aside from Cody, right? Most of these guys have been playing professionally for an extraordinarily long time. Some of the longest standing LCS veterans are on this team in Xmithie, all the way back to the Vulcan days, playing through, and now he's on Immortals. You got Pobelter, who was the young gun 17. He's supposed to be the big carry. Took some time to develop, find his spot from Winter Fox onto the next squad, and eventually here onto Immortals. And so, you know, it really, I think this is the test. As Irene says, if they're able to come away with that, even just a finals appearance, I think that's when they'll be cemented as a top-tier organization within the North American LCS over these past 2 years.
And it would be great company to join for them, given the fact that TSM, CLG, and C9 have been undisputed the three top orgs in North America this entire time. Having some fresh blood in there, not only for the org, but for these players, would be huge.
All right, well, as we're closing out here, NA LCS 1, where Immortals got victory over